Hand setups can be tricky, and you ask for flexible positioning options. We're answering with strategies like the Superman setup, standing, and Akimbo. When positioning upper extremities on the extremity board, it's challenging because you need to separate the arm from the body. But this patient is a really good candidate for that because we can get her arm akimbo, and we also can offset the board. So you can see we have the dummy profiles too on here. That is so our mold care doesn't take up those holes where the mask is going to go. And as you see, as he lifts her hand up, we have these little pegs, and that's going to index our mold care into place so you know where it goes the same place every time. So look how the dummy profiles here are kind of keeping you nice and good. You know exactly where your mask is going to go. The mold care is not going to spill over and take those holes away from you when you're trying to position.
And I'm applying some nice pressure on her hand so you can make those finger imprints. So that way when we index this again for treatment, her hand is going to fit in that one spot.
Rule of thumb is whenever you're doing an extremity on this system, you always have to immobilize 2 joints.
So and right here, I'm making the same support for her elbow as well, using these profiles, these dummy profiles, to even help hold it in place. All right, so these are our 2-point knee mask. I like the knee mask because it is a little bit of a thicker material than our hand mask. So those are gonna go, got your in there, perfect. So what I'm also doing here is I'm gonna actually apply some indentation in the mask in between her fingers as well. So I'm kind of overlapping her fingers in between those gaps. And so what this is gonna do is, again, kind of form around her fingers. I'm not digging all the way in there, but I am digging enough so that when this mask dries, there are full finger indentions. With this setup, there's a few different really treatment options you can achieve, I would say. I mean, you could treat the hand, wrist, up to the forearm, even the elbow right here. We are pretty immobilized for the whole lower half of the arm.
Yeah, and with these low dose radiation therapy treatments for osteoarthritis, we've seen a lot more requests to see these extremity setups.
One other thing to note too is we did offset this. Always check clearance before you go through this whole work, because if this isn't going to clear through the bore, then we did all this for nothing. Once these masks are fully cured, before we run her through the scanner, we're going to take them off. We're going to lift her arm up, lay it back down, make sure everything fits nice and neat, put the mask back on, check for pressure points, things like that, right? We don't want to find that stuff out on the treatment side that something was hurting or not working right.
Key point is do not rush it.
Do not rush it. So we'll take this off. We got nice indexing points right here where those pegs were. Lay that nice down. I got her finger indexed nicely. So let's go ahead and just lift her arm up all the way. Go ahead and relax back down. See if you can find those finger holes. Yep. Beautiful. We'll place this back on. Got you right there. Everything's lining up nicely. Grab this elbow mask again.
Got your marks.
Use my letters. I know exactly where we're going. Bam.
So now we have the Superman position for the hand. And obviously this isn't going to work for every patient, but if the patient has the mobility, this is probably the best dosimetrically because you have the target way far away from the body. The patient seems to be comfortable. We have a pad underneath her here. So doing the Superman is pretty tricky, but if your patient can tolerate it, maybe if they're a younger patient, then I'd say go for it. So we're also going to do the mold care under the hand again, just like we did before. Also have a comfort cushion under her elbow here, just because we didn't think it warranted a mold care for the elbow. So we're just doing the mold care up top for the hand. This kind of helps lift the arm into the same plane, because when your elbow kind of has nothing underneath it, it kind of gets off plane with your hand. So I like putting everything in the same plane here.
We have nice finger indentions right here. And again, I'm applying some pressure here from the top as well, just to make sure that nothing's sliding. And so that she's got good indentions at the top of her fingertips as well. So again, I'm molding her hand, molding around her fingers, getting nice indentation here. And you'll see once this mask is made, it'll have very nice finger imprints. We have those same indentions on the posterior side of her hand as well.
This kind of acts like a double shell.
Exactly.
One on the bottom, one on the top.
But one thing to note is that you don't have to wait for the mold care to fully cure before you make this mask, because the pressure of the mask is forming that mold care. So they're both kind of drying together, right? So a way to save time, you don't have to wait for that mold care, the full 5-7 minutes, whatever it takes.
But the mask is have to wait 10 minutes minimum.
Again, we have really good finger imprints in this mask. Her hand's really only going to be in one spot every single day.
It's the best one I've ever seen.
Oh, you know what? I'd have to agree with you.
So now we're doing the hand in the standing position. So this will be an option if you have a patient who's too large to do Akimbo and doesn't have the mobility to do the Superman.
Right.
So now you can just do a comfortable standing position, and you can have the patient pivot away from the donut as they go and get into the scan.
And to help with those finger indents too, applying this pressure from the top of the mold care, really pinching everything in. Again, we want her hand to fit nicely back in this every single day.
So see how Scott clipped his in, and then I'm gonna stretch mine, and then I can put mine in. So always clip one side in first. We're gonna stretch this mask out a little bit to cover her entire hand. And now we're gonna work it in between those fingers so we can have an individual immobilization for each kind of finger here. A double shell technique. Mold care on the bottom, mask on the top. The mask likes to stick to the seam of the mold care, so I kind of tucked it up underneath the mold care, but you can go ahead and press on the mold care all you want because there's a non-stick coating to this mask. So it's not gonna stick to the actual mold care, but there's some glue in this seam that it likes to stick to sometimes. Always, we wanna document on the profile itself where this mask was clipped in. So I'm at I2 here.
And then I'm at L5 here. And now once they start to harden, you don't need as much pressure. I'll focus on the soft areas now, really rolled around the wrist and the base of the hand. This is looking really good though.
Really good for those low dose radiation therapy treatments for osteoarthritis, anything like that. Seeing a lot of those in the field lately.